Hello, my name is Trebor Scholz, and I'm a professor at the New School in New York City. Unfortunately, I can't be with you because I wasn't able to enter India, but I will give you a relatively short presentation today online. But at the end, there's a QR link where you can download a longer report, a brief, and also these slides. So let me start. So I want to start by acknowledging the strengths of Kerala. This is where we already are. So Kerala isn't a fragile ecosystem. It's not just experimenting with cooperatives. It's really a multi-sector cooperative powerhouse that in many ways is the envy of the world. PACs mobilize extraordinary capital. Federations function, Kerala Bank anchors finance, agriculture, health, education, IT, tourism. So this is an integrated foundation. And Kerala already has scale. It has governance, it has legitimacy. So the question isn't whether Kerala can build a cooperative digital economy. It's already there. It's more if the question of how design it so that it lasts. With that in mind, I want to jump right to my core proposition. It's really not about platform cooperatives. It's not about digital platforms. It's the main challenge, which is really institutional design, not so much digitization. And my key proposal is very simple: to move from isolated apps, websites, web applications, to shared cooperative digital infrastructure. So to treat an ecosystem in the digital economy, from platforms, yes, to data, to software, and to AI, as core public infrastructure. So to ground reform in Kerala's existing institutions, PACs, federations, Kerala Bank, IT corps, but informed by global cooperative practice. And I've worked for over 10 years with people experimenting with the cooperative form in the digital economy worldwide. None of what I will propose is meant to replace existing state initiatives, but it is rather to increase their durability, autonomy, and the value that they are proposing. So I put this into various shapes and forms. These are the key points that I will talk about. So from isolated apps to shared infrastructure, secure data sovereignty and a cooperative cloud, integrate finance and public procurement, and launch youth-led tech cooperatives. A little bit of context. So why am I here talking to you? I have a little bit of background with Kerala. So I was invited by Thomas Isaac in 2019 to speak to the Kerala Legislative Assembly about digital labor and cooperation. We have spoken many times since and became good friends. In 2023, we co-convened Roots of Resilience, which was a conference in Trivandrum, together organized with KDISC and IT for Change. In 2025, I delivered a talk at the Kerala Co-op Expo and had the privilege of certainly getting to know pretty much all the cooperatives at the expo. So I know a little bit about the Kerala Co-op ecosystem. And over the years, I've also authored and commissioned papers on Kudumbashree, on the Kerala Food Platform, and on other state-level platform cooperatives. So what I have witnessed is that Kerala is not following the world. Kerala, in very many ways, is really leading. And so our institute has very much followed these developments. So I have the Institute for the Cooperative Digital Economy. You can learn about the papers that we published here, just as a bit of background. You can learn more about the conference that we convened in Trivandrum and the declaration, the Trivandrum Declaration that came out of that. And you can also learn more about platform cooperatives, which is how I started so many years ago, which basically developed different models for how digital platforms, labor platforms for taxis, for example, or for care services, or for many, many other sectors, can operate cooperatively. Today, there are 1.2 million workers in platform co-ops and adjacent solidarity enterprises. This is about 643 businesses in 53 countries. They are paying taxes locally, so benefiting communities. And in some sectors, workers are paid twice as much as they have been paid before. You can follow up on papers published by the OECD and also by our fellows by following these QR codes. All right, so for Kerala, again, coming back, I think the lessons are that isolated platforms don't succeed, right? So they should not depend on foreign IT infrastructure, and that governance is crucially important, that this cannot be a process of implementing apps top down, but it has to be a grassroots effort that is supported by the government. And of course, that while governance is crucially important and key to success, business viability is really what needs to be at the center of these projects. So the suggestion, key objectives that I suggest in the context of this conference, and again, thank you so much for the invitation, is to build cooperatively owned digital platforms, to develop shared interoperable infrastructure. And I detail that in my report. What does this really mean? And anything from shared protocols to white label software that could be used all across the state of Kerala, in the Kerala Bank, in the cooperatives, in the packs, and beyond. Right? To have a cooperative data center that is dedicated to Kerala, to create some independence. This is something the Basque Country has done, for example. And equally importantly, to also create cooperative software that allows this data center to operate. So it's not just about the data center itself, but also the software that runs the cloud and cybersecurity services. So, and then of course, logically, to align public policy with this cooperative growth. Much of this you are doing already, right? And to really position AI and digital government as public cooperative infrastructure, so to create these hybrids between public and cooperative services, which is a direction you are already going into in Kerala. I think really key, of course, is youth, right? When we think about cooperatives, I think everybody understands that. And here we could, for example, create pathways for youth-led platforms, tech and data cooperatives through KDiscs, through universities like the Digital Kerala University, PACs, and IT co-ops, with finance, mentoring, and public procurement access, right? So AI and data should really be understood as public infrastructure. And this is by no means a given when you look at what's happening worldwide, where really American big tech AI infrastructure dictates and creates long-term dependencies, right, for the users. So, and this could be the state, or this could be cooperatives or other businesses in Kerala. While they come with convenience, they definitely create almost irreversible dependencies down the road. So this is why public infrastructure, AI infrastructure, is so important, and interoperability. And then to build an integrated cooperative education ecosystem linking Digital University of Kerala with training institutes, these IT cooperatives and sector federations. Again, some of this you do already. And then I think I'm proposing to establish a cooperative leadership and data science school to train managers, worker leaders, and technologists in governance and in coding specifically. So to have a center, like a school that is really at the intersection of technology and cooperatives. And to form a statewide innovation network out of incubators, community labs, schools, research, hackathons, to embed cooperative skills from primary education through applied research. So in my report, I give details and examples for how this was done in the Basque Country and in many other places around the world. So then to really think about also the AI supply chains and to think about how you can have member-controlled data governance across the AI stack and treat cooperative data as a collectively owned asset. And none of this is utopian, right? So we saw this modeled in cities like Barcelona, and we see those ideas circulating in the European Union very much. Right? I think you have this very interesting situation also with Barath, right? The nationwide platform cooperative where there is this built on the India stack, right, on the public digital infrastructure, and which gives which isn't a clear path to success, but it's definitely something, an interesting avenue that is very different than in any other country that could be explored and pursued, especially as like Namayatri, right, which was a community-oriented collective, tech collective, is at the heart of the tech solution for that. So you can use fiscal policies to shift markets by giving tax incentives to digital cooperative projects, to AI cooperatives, to platform co-op ideas, right? And create procurement preferences for platform co-ops and public cooperative hybrids to make all of these things that I mentioned earlier happen. You can create public certification and labeling to make cooperative ownership and fair labor visible in digital and physical markets. So this means that also cooperative apps and cooperative services should be having to be certified on the level of fair labor and democratic governance. Right? So it's not always a given that cooperative platforms are automatically introducing democratic practice, so that one could have certifications for that to make sure that fair labor and such practices are instituted. So there could be anti-dumping protections, export alignment, cooperative finance integration, tax relief, for example, for community data centers. Again, those exist. This is not some fantasy, right? So this is something that already exists in the UK, in Germany, in the Netherlands, and increasingly also in the Basque Country, where you have cooperatively owned data centers. All right, in terms of funding, we're suggesting a cooperative development fund that is permanent, which means that it is anchored in the Department of Cooperation and the Kerala Bank, but it is insulated from electoral cycles, meaning that it is really permanent. To streamline access to finance, so to implement a single digital platform to integrate Kerala Bank, PACs, and state financing schemes All of these things are already rudimentary, and this makes it so exciting, right, to think about Kerala, because there's already so many good starting points to these things, and to make funding transparent and have, like I said, like a democracy and fair work style index to really benchmark these businesses that work in Kerala in terms of their governance, in terms of their worker voice, in terms of their equity, and in terms of their incentives. So to really place incentives with workplace democracy and fair work. And naturally, like everywhere in the world, a need to modernize legal frameworks. So I had already done this last year, but I'm have suggested, or I think like as a source of inspiration for Kerala, as a gift, if you like, to find digital cousins. So I looked at the ecosystem in Kerala and then identified a few dozen digital cousins abroad. This is all fleshed out in the report, and you can download it and read them there. I'm just giving a few examples here. There's Some Mobilidad, which is an e-car rental service on the outskirts of Barcelona, has a few hundred cars now, and is owned by the community, right? And it's electric vehicles on demand, so which means it reduces the number of individually owned vehicles. It is supporting ecological care and allows parents, for example, to bring their children to school also in the absence of transportation alternatives. There is Pesca Data, which is a data cooperative of fisher people in Mexico. These are very small, often family-sized fisheries that have worked together to create financial and other benefits by collecting data on their catch and essentially simplify fundraising with transparent data and increase market access and strengthen their bargaining power. In terms of eliminating the intermediaries grown by in New York City or New York State, has increased farmers' income by eliminating middlemen and thereby increasing direct sales. So there are like 1,000 farmers now in 43 states, but it started here in New York State. So essentially, it allows an individual farmer to create an online marketplace where they can sell like their carrots or okra or chicken to people that can purchase it online, and then it's delivered. The Drivers Cooperative is an interesting project where a cooperative is competing with Uber, similar to Savari, has onboarded some 12,000 drivers here in New York. It's an up and down success story, so there have been many obstacles, but they did raise some, I think, over $4 million by now, and they have much better pay than Uber and charge about 10% less than Uber. And while in New York City, they had mixed success. So they started and became very successful. Then they went downhill. Now they are up again. But in parallel, now the Drivers Co-op is also in Colorado, where there are already a few thousand drivers as well. And that is quite successful. So sometimes one project becomes kind of the compost of another. So that might be something interesting. And also to understand the digital economy, right? So that most of the startups in Silicon Valley fail, right? Over 90%, between 89 and 90%. And this is, of course, also true for state and cooperative initiatives. So failure is just part of the process. And so what's important is to learn from those failures and to restart the projects and start again, and to not start from scratch again, but to really learn from those lessons and build on each other's project. So you can download the full-length report, which is quite long, which has also a long appendix, detailed all these digital cousins I mentioned. You can have a 5-page briefing document, and you can also download these slides. You can access my latest books here. And I also guided ChatGPT to bring these ideas into a visualization, and with some editing afterwards, this is what I can share. I think it makes these ideas pretty clear, right? So the enormous strengths of the cooperative ecosystem in Kerala, with 1.16 lakh crore in annual mobilization, all these areas from paddy to rubber, healthcare, education, IT, tourism, and also these amazing stationary and essential goods that are really stabilizing. So really remarkable and really an example for the world. And then lessons, right, from these digital experiments, like any other economy and any other territory would have. And I think one of them is to establish federations of these businesses with shared data protocols, shared white label software, to create a data center that allows some autonomy for Kerala, public cooperative cloud services linked to that, and public procurement, of course, of platform cooperatives, and a real emphasis on youth training with an international school for cooperative management that also focuses on data science, or has a central focus on data science and on cooperatives. I mentioned the certification and the labeling, an emphasis on democracy and fair labor practices, and like I said, then a long list of examples that you can look to if you want to learn about who has started the first AI cooperative. There's a really amazing successful model in the UK right now, and many others. So I thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at pcc@newschool.edu. I wish you all a successful conference. And again, I'm so sorry that I'm not able to be with you.